But now we are recording, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Lazola, Gola, and Dineo, Lusenga. Welcome, guys. This is the Q&A
Yay!
between us. This is about Braam. We're finally here. It's been years, little years. I haven't seen so many guys. But first, you guys can please introduce yourselves.
Go for it, ladies first. The patriarchy.
I'm Dineo, Lusenga, and I play the heartbreaker Pearl.
Sheesh. My name is Lazola, and I am multifaceted, and I am an amazing creative, and I can't wait for you guys to witness my magic.
Oh, geez, you should have given me a briefing. That's how we're introducing ourselves. I would have prepared something.
I'll try. It's like I'm also multifaceted.
So multifaceted and multi-talented. And you're gonna experience my magic too, you know.
all the magics. But no, for those who don't know, I'm Xolelwa, also known as Ollie. I co-created, directed, and wrote this episode. So yeah, so I think first off, let me ask the first question. Let me find my questions. Okay, we did that one already. So
did that one, yeah.
Where did y'all grow up? Just to give the people an idea of the multifacetedness of what we're doing here.
Oh, multifaceted. That's my cue. I grew up. I grew up in Cape Town. So I'm from Cape Town, born and bred. Krutiskeer Hospital. Went all over Cape Town. Started in Googs. Then we moved a lot. Went to I don't know if anyone knows Cape Town, but went to Boerkaap, Salt River, Woodstock, Obs, Claremont, which I grew up most of my upbringing. And then I came to Johannesburg to go to Wits, and I guess that's my first interaction with Johannesburg and Braam, to be more specific. And now I'm back home. I don't know what else to say.
Next.
Yeah. I feel like I've only ever had two homes, and that's Pretoria and Joburg. I'm from Soshanguve in Pretoria. It's like north of Pretoria. People always say Soshanguve is far. Guys, Soshanguve is not far, okay? People always say once you're in Sosha, you may as well be in Limpopo. Not really, but yeah, that's home. I was born there. I was raised there. I lived my entire life there until I was, I guess, 17, and then it was time for me to leave, and find an institution to study, and then that's when I moved to Joburg to study at Wits, drama and TV and all of that. Ollie, that's where we met at school. Mm-hmm. And Braam, I guess, was my introduction, to Johannesburg, because that's where I was studying. That's where I lived for a long time until I was an adult, and I could explore other aspects of Johannesburg. So yeah, that's me. Still in Joburg. That's where I live now.
Johannes, do you guys know that Soshanguve? I mean, I didn't know this. You probably, because it was it's because it's named, because it's the name comes around by Shona, Nguni.
We don't speak Shona in Sosha. Soto.
Oh, maybe, but I think that the name, the way that Soweto is like Southwestern Township.
Yes.
The title is from three different, I don't know.
From all the languages that are spoken. So Soto, Shangani, yes, Nguni and Venda, correct. Yeah.
So where's the Venda? Soshanguve. Yeah, there's no...
There at the end.
Oh, okay. The shame.
So we speak everything.
All the
languages. Yeah.
Unlike Cape Town. Cape Town is pretty much just Xhosa, which is a big culture shock when I came to Joburg and everyone was speaking everything.
Every
And I
day.
was like,
Zulu, Sotho, Tswana,
yeah.
Siswati.
No, Daman, Agir Daman,
Udes, Dama.
all those things.
Yeah.
Shame. All right, guys. On to the next one. Where's my stuff? Okay, so you kind of spoke about this, but what was your like first experience of Braamfontein? Like, as I know you, Dineo, you came in varsity when I was also in varsity, so Braamfontein did not look like what it looks like now. And Laz, I'm sure when you got here, it also didn't look like what it is now. So can you guys give your experience, like, Dineo, if you go first?
Yeah, I mean, Braam has drastically changed over the years. When we started varsity, it wasn't as cool as it is right now. It was just a place where you just, you go to varsity, you study, and if you really wanted a cool place to hang out, I think Melville was the place. I don't remember ever wanting to hang out in Braam. We really didn't have any spots, now that I think about it. And then towards the end of our varsity years, I remember Pantola Bites popped up. Was it called Pantola Bites? That place across
at Braam Center. Yeah.
Yes. And then there was Pantola Bites, and I was like, oh, it's a bit of a vibe, But I think that's when was it gentrification? I would say so. I mean, it started popping up everywhere. South Point, I think they were one of the companies and the student accommodation places that started popping up, and a lot more students started living in Braam, because when I was in first year, we had Labori, because there weren't a lot of decent places to stay in Braam until South Point started popping up, and a lot of those student reses started popping up. So I think it's been interesting. It also makes me feel very old, but it's been interesting to have lived in different versions of Braam, to have lived in the not so cool Braam and see it come up into the Braam that it is now. And then you have your Great Danes. I mean, Kitchener's has always been there. It has stood the test of time. But to see everything kind of pop up around it, I mean, Orbit came and even went, and all these other places have popped up around them. And it's been really cool. I remember there was the Puma Social Club as well.
Oh, I love that.
You guys remember that?
Yeah. No, that was
So we've had, I think, quite a very interesting experience of Braam, that I think my sisters are at varsity now, and they didn't get to experience the Braam that we experienced. I don't think they'd ever even believe me if I told them what Braam was before.
No, yeah, Puma Social Club, actually, that was when I started my relationship with Puma, the brand. Was literally just being there every Friday evening or night, whatever. Actually, yeah, we're in Puma right now.
Look at
Shout out Puma. Yeah, no, literally, like one of the marketing guys was always there, obviously looking over his baby that they've created, and I was just like, oh, is there? And then we got to chatting, and then we got a relationship, and they started, fucking with your boy. I don't know if you can swear on this, and just giving me things. But my very first interaction with Braam actually was where I don't know what it is there now. I haven't been there so long, but where Adidas used to be, and like that same block where Adidas and Nike, that same kind of opposite the Lears, like that literally that corner, that
with
the corner
Kalashnikov
shop
section.
Yes, but like the one facing the road close to Smith Street. There used to be a shop there called Creative Recreations way back in the day that I used to work with. That I used to work in that store, and basically it was like in an island of like this cool shop that you couldn't, the shoes that you couldn't get, that were big in the world. And some guy, my brother knew, had the rights for Africa, and he opened up a flagship store, and it was like this fucking cool brand and cool, colorful sneakers, but like in an island of just shit. And like, like Kitchener's still there, but it was like an old person's bar that people go
Yeah.
to when they've, lost their jobs, whatever. Um,
That's true.
But so that was like my first interaction. But also I was at Res at Wits, so there was also like this like pool bar we'd go and like try and buy courts. Like that was our thing. Like, oh, like play maybe a game of pool, and then, but it wasn't like let's hang out here for the night. It was like in and out, and like a very quick,
Was that Veers?
Yeah. Veers, yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, it's in and out. I remember we played a couple, but just, like everyone was like, "Let's get out of here, bro. Let's go.
Keep it moving.
keep it moving." And yeah, man, like you said, it was like, and then slowly everything just like slowly, it changed. Nhlabatsi was a big one, and then also I used to work. I mean, straight after varsity, we the Brente, which did late night news with Gola. We wrote on Smith Street, so it was literally a block away from everything. And that's kind of how that was kind of like every Friday was a writing session, and straight afterwards we'd go and just see the streets. Puma Social Club was obviously one, but then just be around. And that was like for a good 2-3 years of just like constantly every Friday after work. And you, Ollie, I think you've been in many of those those
situations,
like Friday situations. Yeah, man. And then I think it just bloomed and blossomed into what it is. I mean, I don't know what it is now. I haven't been in Joburg for a good year and a half, but that was my first introduction. Just like, I think the work, slow integration. And I think they really just like, it seems like a no-brainer now, because it's like you have a whole university next to you.
Exactly.
Why not cater to us? But like Dineo was saying, Melville was always the one. Melville, and do you guys remember Rocker? Was it Rocker or something where you
Roxy's?
No,
Rockers. It's like close to Atlas Studios, like by Stan.
Yes.
I think so.
I remember that. They used to have these Wednesday nights, if not Thursday or something.
It
Thursday. Used to be so dope, actually. Yeah.
So that was the only thing. If you couldn't afford like a taxi to go to Melville, we're like, okay, there's a couple of us would walk.
You walk there,
and then walk back. Mad, actually mad.
I feel so old.
We are pretty much, no. Because I think my first experience with Braam was way before. Like, my mom worked at Braam Fontaine Center. The company was there, so we used to go there and visit her sometimes. And then that was about it. And I had a cousin who was at Wits, and we went to visit her at Res. But Braam was always like this weird alien. It's like, it was town, but not really town, because like it wasn't as filthy, but it was always like, you don't go to Braamfontein. There's nothing there for you in Braamfontein.
Yeah.
Then there was a friend, the friend, the party friend. And then we discovered that Kitchener's was like the only place that would play Little Dragon at like these random times, like on a Friday night and a Saturday night. But who's the DJ? Like, and that's my introduction to Braamfontein. We were just looking for music. Like, who's playing Little Dragon? Kitchener's. We'll stay there because it's 4:00 in the morning. Cool, it's a vibe. Thank you. Yeah, I can stay. And it's an evil place, Kitchener's, because I remember going there like at 7 in the afternoon or 5, and it's like 4 in the morning. And it's like, guys, this one more drink policy. Oh, I couldn't survive it. But let's move along. What's the next one? So how did you guys? No, let me go back to something. So what drew you guys to being a part of this Braam, the series as it is right now with the pilot? Les?
Me. What drew me to it? I mean, I think it was, to be honest, I think it is you posed the question. Well, just like how about a series about Braam as it is, and all the weird kind of intricacies, and I don't know, Braam being like a bed to all these other cool and weird stories sounded very interesting. And then also just like, I think you just challenging me not to be like, bow, wow, 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 and like, you know, this funny, like bouncing off the wall character in front of camera, which seemed like a cool, interesting challenge.
Yeah, I was like,
And
I
so,
asked you to find your inner nerd, didn't I?
yeah. I mean, it was great. I think I'm gonna cringe a lot when watching it, just because I do that every time I watch myself or anything that involves me, even if it's just like voice recordings. But yeah, so I think that's what like drew me to it. I think there was nothing set in Braam or speaking anything close to the stories and the living experiences of that time and that kind of world. So that's really what kind of drew me to it.
Okay, thank you very much. Dineo.
I think for me, it was the concept. I really liked the concept. I just felt like you had this fresh approach to how you wanted to tell stories that we're not seeing on television. And I mean, I've seen this episode, the pilot episode, and I still maintain that, you know, not a lot of people are doing what you're doing with it. So I really liked the vision. I was sold. And with what Lazola said as well, I think it was you. I'm very big on relationships, you know, depends who's asking you to do what. So, and you asked, and it was a no-brainer that, you know, obviously I'd want to work with you. And I mean, we went to school together, we studied this TV thing together. So it was a nice, you know, full circle moment to finally get to work together. We've done a lot of, I think, student films.
Yep.
That no one has seen, and thank God.
Yep.
So it was nice to really come together on something at this level outside of, you know, school and create something like this. So yeah, that was me.
Thank you guys for actually saying yes and agreeing to the things, and my nagging and consistently being you know, that guy. But thank you guys. Thank you.
But why did you do this project? What drew you to actually pursue it and do it?
My thing was that I wanted to make sure that we recorded this moment in time, that this Braamfontein as it looks like a couple of years ago, and making sure that we can promote ourselves, that we are making our own stuff that we're promoting to the world, because we're all very aware of like New York's cool district and London's cool district and Tokyo's cool district. But when you come to Joburg, people are like, oh, so what are you going to do in Joburg? Because everyone wants to go to Cape Town. No offense, Laz, but they do because it looks pretty. But actually, Joburg is the more fun. It's like because we just have this bad rap of, you know, dangerous and stuff. I'm like, it's not dangerous. It's just, you must be aware. You must be babab. You can't just walk around like you own the place, sort of. So I think it was wanting to, but it's also because Braamfontein is like is a melting pot of all sorts of, because I was speaking to Ogusha, and it's not like, it's like people from South Africa or from different small towns or different provinces, and people from like abroad, like on the continent, or Nigerian, Congolese, Mozambican, Swazi, Sotho. It's like so many people in that little space, and you always get that, like, this is like actually what, I suppose Joburg can only be Joburg, but like the rest of South Africa, when I go out, it's like, oh yeah, I always forget like this. Joburg is one of a kind in it of itself. So I always like trying to capture that and then show it to people, and like, this is the cool kids, essentially, cool artistic, you know, trying to survive and make things out of something, and that's what I wanted to show people. Like, this is our struggle, this is our, yeah, basically, that's how it came about.
Cool. And how did you think of the characters? So these characters that we see, especially in this episode, and how they relate to each other, and what the story was, or the background story.
I wanted to show, again, I didn't want, because again, I suppose Braamfontein, if you're in Joburg or if you're in South Africa, Braamfontein has a reputation of being like this party place. So I didn't want us to start with like this partying or grooving or any of that. I wanted to show like Braamfontein is actually a place where people live like 7 days a week. And I wanted to show a smaller story about a smaller personal story about like heartbreak from a specific character. And I also wanted the character not to be what we typically see in the South African media. So I wanted someone who's unsure of themselves, who's little nerdy, very idiosyncratic, but still has a lot of hope and a lot of reverence in them. And then that's kind of what I wanted to show, that we are dynamic and we have all sorts of other things around us, that we're not just one monolithic looking thing. We have lots of different, sides to us. And this is kind of like an excuse to show those different sides of what I experienced in Braamfontein and the people I know in Braamfontein. It's not just the cool kids. I mean, fine, the cool kids are like the posters and the ambassadors for this thing, but it's all the real people who actually spend the money, who actually, when they go to Father Carper, they spend money. They just don't show. I'm joking, guys. Don't come at me. We were all there. I know that struggle too. So how was the process of making Braam from your guys' perspective? Yes, Dineo, yours is a little different.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Lazola should go first. Okay, so mine was, I think you guys had shot already when I came in, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you guys had shot everything, and you knew exactly what you wanted me to do, because I think you were in post already. So it was interesting because, I mean, I don't know if I should go into the details of what I do or not. I don't know. Can I?
Maybe.
As in, like,
yeah.
We can cut this. Like, we can. This
oh,
we
you
can
mean
cut
you?
This.
Okay, are you still gonna cut? Okay, cool. So I mean, so you had shot and everything, and all I had to do was record a voice, right? So I'm sending my boyfriend this voice, and I'm used to walking into a studio and recording a voiceover, and oh, sorry, something just popped up on my screen. So I'm used to just walking in, and you have obviously a director who says, okay, so say this line like this, whatever. This was a bit different. So I had you directing, but now you are like, so this is not working. Do you want to go lie on the bed and record this? I was like, why would I want to go lie on the bed while I'm recording this? But I understood, because as soon as we changed the dynamics of how I was sitting and what kind of mood I was in, it actually helped me get into character, because you do have to think about what would she be doing as she's sending this voice note, right? She's probably lying on her bed. To her, it's not a big deal. She's just like, yeah, I'm just not that into you, whatever. So it was very interesting for me I've never done that before, having to explore kind of different ways of movement and how to sit, how to move, how to speak, being in character, but just recording a voice. So it was very interesting. I think it gave me a new perspective of acting. Not having a camera in my face, but still acting.
Mr. Gola.
Yeah, man. I think it was for me a very interesting thing. I think already from like our rehearsal times. I mean, I don't know what, because we're also in the middle of, I think we're busy shooting Bantu Hour or writing Bantu Hour on the other side, and so it was like a very big contrast, at least the energy, because in the one you're really trying to go in and out as quick as possible, high energy, fill up the space, fill up the screen, and kind of give people this injection of humor and yeah, I mean, whatever the script was. So this one was like, and also, I mean, adverts as well. Adverts, sometimes you don't even say a thing, or it's just like a look, and you're like, cool, we've got it, and on to the next one. So this one was very much like, like a longer form, and staying in like emotions, or even just emotions longer than whatever emotions it was. And that at first I think was quite I won't say uncomfortable, it's a bad connotation. It was first unfamiliar, and just kind of getting through that, even in the the rehearsal processes, and also just having all these things theoretically in your head and how you want to do it, but actually getting down to the moments where it took a little bit of work, but it was fun. It was fun, and it was fulfilling. And also, I mean, really, like, I think a lot of it was actually pretty funny in its own, in a different way, which I guess was the whole point of this thing. But I really did like it. I also liked how I describe it, like how small the story is, but it kind of evolved around this person. And at first it was like, I don't know, it felt like a little overwhelming. I remember you saying like, yeah, I want you to see if you can be like one of the leads or like a lead. And in my head I'm like, cool, like one of the. And then when I read the script, it was like, oh yeah, no, it's like pretty much you. It's like, fuck, okay. Which means there's no like times for breaking or like having it was kind of like all me. And again, I'm probably gonna cringe so much when I watch this again. But yeah, I think it was a great experience, man. It was great to just see my boys in action doing the thing, and yeah, just letting that happen. I remember it was over 2 days. We shot over 2 days in that thing.
Yeah,
Friday and a Saturday, or Saturday and a Sunday, and we were just in your apartment, and we were just gunning it. And there was always times when I was like, I mean, because I don't have the eye that you are looking at this thing holistically, and I'll just kind of like complete. I don't know. We didn't go chronologically, but it did feel like a flow of some sort. But I didn't have a holistic approach, and I was just like, man. Then you'd like cut, and then I'm like, cool. We're doing this again. It's like, no, we're moving to the next one. And I was like, okay, fuck. Okay, that's it. That's imprinted forever. But yeah, no, I think it was fun. I think it was a cool, cool thing to do, a cool experience.
You did the things. I didn't need another take.
I liked seeing how the story came together, Ollie, because obviously when I recorded the voice note, sure, you briefed me and I kind of knew what the story was, but it was interesting to watch it and be like, oh, that's where it was going. That's what's happening. And as Lazola was saying, seeing how small the story is, I think it works. You did really, really well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Oh, like this is like the last one. Why should people watch this in your opinion? Tell the
I have a question. Aren't they tired of watching the same old shit? Like, aren't you just tired? I think people should watch this because it's different, man. It's really cool. Like I said at the beginning of this conversation, that not a lot of, I mean, we've been making TV for years in this country, and I think there's a formula that we follow and it works. And I guess the rules are, if it's not broken, why fix it? Whatever, sure. But I really feel like there's also room to disrupt the norm and do things differently. And we don't have to tell these long stories. Like, we keep going back to how small the story is, but yet it's effective. It gets to the point. It works. And people can't watch like long form things anymore. I think, well, let me use myself as an example. Like, I watch things and I'm like, where was this going again? What's happening? So I'm really starting to appreciate like smaller stories, things that are, quicker to watch, because I mean, we are so inundated with a lot of content right now. So if it's something that I can just watch and finish and then look forward to the next episode, that's what I'm into right now. And I think this show kind of caters for that market, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her answer plus yeah, man, I think it's about darn time. I don't know why I've stopped swearing now, but I think like there's I think this is an important watch, and to get us to a stage where we're kind of telling our stories honestly. And I don't know what I identify as, but I think there's a lot of stories that are not told out there that don't necessarily represent or kind of connect with you on a deeper level. I'm sure, like Dineo was saying, everything, you know, is there and then works. And I don't know, I don't think this is, and don't take us the wrong way, I don't think this is the silver bullet that changes everything. But I think this is a huge, I think it's a huge step in that direction. I think it opens up a whole new world. I think the whole biggest, I mean, there's been a debate that I've been having a lot with, like, and it actually even showed up in one of the series I was watching about, like, how do we watch, I mean, like with our stories, and how do we police our stories, or how do we rate our stories? And the thing is, we don't have enough of our stories to even get into that conversation.
Yeah,
and, you know, so we need to get our stories out there. And I think Braam is like, I mean, just the you know, like we've all just mentioned before, this is a great world. Is a great world of this, you know. Imagine, setting a thing in Braam. It's a great world with great opportunities, and I think, man, I think watch it. If not for enjoyment, which I think you will, it's gonna be a certain personal case study in kind of the journey into where we are going. Into kind of, you know, telling our stories. And also watch it because I try to be serious a little bit sometimes, and that could be weird and interesting to see.
I really enjoyed it. And Lazola, you did. I really enjoyed your performance.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Confidently.
Sweet. That's my first good review.
Nailed it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for making the time to come back and speak about this project. Thank you for being a part of it. And hopefully we can do some more of these, because your two characters are still in the show, just in case you guys are.
Yay! Oh, we're not dying. Great.
No, you're not dying. No. So there's space. So if there's a sponsor out there who wants to fund this thing, you know, just throw the money at us. Don't worry. You know, I got
keep it coming.
People. But thank you so much, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it out there in the world. And that was us.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ollie.